Hey everyone, welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene. I am with A Room to Bloom. So, tonight, as I record this, it happens to be what is called National Night Out in the United States. And that is a time where communities get together and they either bring dishes or food trucks come in or whatever that is to take an opportunity to get to know your neighbors, right? And I really do think that that is it is a nice opportunity to get to know people, especially in today's society where people go to work, they come home, they stay in. It just depends on the living circumstances, how many people are in a family, how busy their schedules are. But being a society that has often turned to electronics, um, and moving at a fast pace, there's been this thing where it's been less of that. And so the think of life, like with that old television show Little House on the Prairie, when you didn't call people up, you went and saw them, you visited with people. And most of that oftentimes was done on a lot of that might have been done on a Sunday or something when there was more time, because there was labor, just took everything took a little longer, right? But people helped each other out too when there were situations. And I know that that's happening today as well. But I don't know, things have shifted, of course, in our society. So it just asks us to raise the question, where are we on that journey? So I happened to open a book called The Little Book of Gratitude just a little bit ago. And it's by Joanna Gray. And I just realized that this too is pink. Now, the message that I opened it up to, I thought was very interesting for it being the day of um, National Night Out. And what it speaks on is English harvest festivals. It says Angelo Saxons celebrated Lammas loaf mass when the first bread baked from the new harvest was blessed on August 1st. Now, today happens to be August 5th as I record this. It says later, corn dollies were woven and loaves of breads fashioned into sheaves of wheat. A magnificent feast would be enjoyed by the whole community at annual harvest festivals. It says now that food from all over the world can be brought in any time of the year, it's hard for us to truly imagine the ecstatic thankfulness that would have been felt at the filling of barns and store cupboards. While harvest festivals are still practiced in primary schools and churches, the line and death piquancy to the celebrations has been somewhat diminished, and for that we should be grateful. So the idea that food is grown all over the world, and it can be brought in you know um, from all different places, and we do have so much to be grateful for simply in that. So as a message, I just really wanted to speak on about being in gratitude for all that we have, including a bountiful harvest, right? And also remembering to share that, you know, that bounty. Should we have, um, you know, cupboards or cabinets that are overflowing, and how can we share that with others, right? Whose may not be. So really beautiful message today, just that reminder. And I love that the name is Angelo, right? So kind of just thinking about that, right? Angel. Okay. So I'm also going to do something. I haven't done this for a while. I have a book here called Quotationary. Um, and it's by Leonard Roy Frank. And all I'm going to do is open this up. I'm going to ask for a message to be shown to us, and it's generally a word or quote. And let's see what comes up, and then I'm going to do a reading based on that. So this is the book, and so I'm just going to see what comes up. What would you like to show us here for the collective? Okay. Okay, so there are 3 bold words on these 2 pages. There is security, seeing, and self. Okay, and the first word that caught my eye was the word seeing, right? So it says, let's see, now there's a number, there'll be like a variety of sayings here. A true seeing is within. If we live truly, we shall see truly. Set your sights beyond what you can see. There is true majesty in the concept of the unseen power, which can neither be measured nor weighed. And that's actually interesting. So being a clairvoyant, right? The idea of seeing into more, right? I mean, so many times we think that the 3D earthly experience is all there is, until we start having experiences, or until someone we really know had an experience, and we know that person, and they might have seemed super excited or very shaken up because they had this experience, and you trust them, right? And you believe them. And so, all of a sudden you start questioning, maybe there is more, right? Or what was that? If it was your own experience, you start to see more. You might hear more, know more. So I'm glad that that came up. The next one is security, and it speaks of prudence and safety, which is interesting because that National Night Out, oftentimes they have police going around, which is another thing. I happen to pull this deck called Community Helpers because they'll have fire departments come out, police, different service areas of service come out and kind of stop in and talk with different people. They kind of sort of make their rounds, right? So prudence and safety. There is no happiness without security. And it says, I mean the prospect of being able to rely on the permanence of a state into which one has settled oneself. The assurance is to be found either in the mastering of things or the mastering of the self, which makes one independent of things, right? And I I have a card on my table, and it's the name of a business, but the first word is Masterson, and I was going to speak on that because so mastering, right? Mastering the self. So that's kind of interesting. I think I took it out of this book, is what I did. Okay, so let's see what else. Security is when everything is settled, when nothing can happen to you. Security is the denial of life. When nothing else can happen to you. And let's take the self. The center of the universe is still the self. And I have to show you something. It's kind of funny. Today, just a little bit ago, I moved, and I happen to have this. I just thought it was kind of cute. I guess I have it this way. I don't know if you can see it, but it sparkles very iridescently. I don't think the computer shows it that much, but it's super iridescent. But when I walked, this heart, it just like started shimmering, and that's exactly what I thought of, is like getting to the heart, the center of things. And so now I have to find that again. The center of the universe is still the self, right? And do you notice that this says Claire is on here, right? Think about that. The claircognizant, Claire knowing, Claire, right? It's the word Claire means clear, so clear seeing, clear knowing. That's what the clairs are. It's a clear understanding. So very interesting that this really caught my eye just about a half hour ago. I less than that. I don't even think it was that long. And then we have this come up. Thyself is the master of thyself, and thyself is thy refuge, right? So it goes right back to that same thing with security. Once we are stable and feel secure in ourselves, then we always are. Once we let fear go, like a fear of what's in the human experience, if you will, then there isn't anything that can be held over one, because it's like having trust and faith, right, in what is greater than this experience. Let's see. It says one does not get to know that one exists until one rediscovers oneself in others. And so when you hear people speak about a mirror, holding up a mirror, so if someone says something to you and you're like, I wonder why they said that, um, in the beginning of this journey, you might think, you might feel some sort of way about it, but when you start to understand it, you ask now, you might step away from a situation and say, so what lesson were they teaching me about myself? You might not take that lesson in that moment, but as you move along this journey, you kind of close that gap of time of when the lesson was happening, if you will, and the understanding of the lesson. You start to close that and see the lesson in the moment that it's happening, right? And so there is beauty in that as well. Uh, that time and space, if you will, gives one to say, be over here and reflect upon what happened back here. That is what reflection is. And yet it is also in that moment someone is reflecting something back to us through whatever is going on in the experience. Okay, so those are really neat words that came up. So I'm going to set this aside and kind of focus on this idea of security, seeing, and the self. I'm going to start with a deck. Before I do, I think I'm going to go to the community helpers. Security, seeing, and the self. Let's see what comes up. These are older cards, but still kind of interesting. What should we be aware of about community helpers today, even whenever you watch this reading? See what resonates with you. What would you like for the collective to know here? Okay. So this one would be, this is actually interesting. Okay, I think they have okay, I have two cards. That's where I was confused. I'm like, these images do not match what they're saying. Yeah, paramedic is what is coming up here. So a paramedic is someone who responds in like an emergency situation, right? They have a stethoscope, a neck brace, a backboard, and other tools. So again, being grateful for the paramedics that work in our communities and such to help people with whatever type of situation they may have experienced, right? And so being grateful for that. Okay, what else do we have? All right, it just says community helpers activities. All right. I'm going to go to this one because it's here. So that's going to be a mechanic. We have wrenches, a spark plug, and a red car. Being grateful for the mechanics, right, in our life when we have work that needs to be done on our vehicle, being in gratitude for the mechanics that are doing, great work, honest work, hard work. It's not always easy work, right? And also, depending upon the vehicles that they're working on, some of these can take incredible knowledge, right? That uh, a lot of other people might say, "What is this?" and they're all trying to figure it out. But somebody who really knows that the nuances of a particular vehicle or a make or model might be able to just go in there and go, "Oh, this is that," right? Or someone older who has years and years of experience. Maybe they've seen this certain thing over however many times over their life, but they know it. And not everyone does. Not all the younger ones do. So also this comes with a wisdom is coming to me, right? Um, yeah, these five wrenches, five represents change, right? So you may feel that there is a change happening in your life. Like things are, um, one, like sparking up, if you will, because a spark plug helps the engine start, right? Um, Having these wrenches in various sizes, understanding that along our journey we need different tools to do our job, right? Okay, what else do we have? Okay, so we have, I'm doing the same thing. I've got two cards here. So this one is the mail carrier. Okay, so we have the post truck, the mailbox stamps with an eagle, I'd like to point out, right? The mail carrier. Think about the jobs today. You never used to see a mail carrier on Sunday. And now I see mail carriers out on Sunday all the time because what are they doing? They are delivering packages on Sundays because more people are ordering, right? Ordering product. And so everything isn't left up to the bigger trucks during the week, right? These, they're still having packages come through the postal service. So being in gratitude for the postal, for the people who are delivering the mail. If you have never watched that movie called The Postman, it's a really interesting show, and it talks about like kind of when that started, and then that there was a situation and how it kind of got restarted up, or in this movie anyway, and the movie stars Kevin Costner. But it's a good show. Now I haven't watched it for a long time, but the idea of getting a message that someone really wanted to get to someone, and the lengths that these people went through to do that, and to keep the postage safe, right? They kept the postage safe on its journey. The other thing that's coming to me with that is Tom Hanks in the movie. I don't know, but it was a delivery truck, or an airplane. It was an airplane. Anyway, all these packages were there, and the plane went down, and he got all these packages, and they kind of helped him survive. But I think there was one package that he just kind of saved, and after he was rescued and all that, he delivered the package. And that same idea of I'll protect I'll protect this. He did what he had to do for survival, and yet it was like he just kind of still wanted to do that, and it turned out being a nice thing for him, right? Okay, the next one is a veterinarian, right? Someone who takes care of our pets. Um, Being grateful for our veterinarians. We're going to go ahead and take one more. And we have a nurse here. Okay. Whoop. We have a nurse in green scrubs. So green scrubs, Archangel Michael is represented by green, the angel of healing, right? So keeping that in mind, being grateful for our nurses, thinking about in your community, did you meet anyone? Do you know anyone who's a nurse? You know, just appreciating the work that they do. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to take some cards here from this. I want to take these cards though. Security, we talked about security, seeing, and the self. The paramedic, the mechanic, the postal worker, the veterinarian, and the nurse. Do, you know, having these people in your community make you feel secure, right? Are you seeing them? Do you help them to understand that they are recognized and appreciated for the work that they do? Okay, under the paramedic, what do we have? So paramedic is someone who generally comes quickly, right? They generally come in an ambulance. You can have paramedics on the fire department as well, but let's see what we have. We have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is someone who is very much kind of pulled within themselves, but they are on their spiritual journey. They are, it's like really sitting in their spiritual wisdom. I find that interesting that there is that star. He's holding that star wand or stick, whatever you want to say. Wand, stick, or pole, right? The Hierophant. Seeking higher knowledge. Okay, tell us more about this vehicle, the mechanic. Okay, so we have a transformation. So this is, it says death, but the death, or this card of transformation, can be the end of something, right? So that something new can begin. It does not always mean a physical death. It can mean, say, the end of a vehicle that you were driving and you are no longer driving it, right? It can mean the end of a place that you lived. It can mean the end of a relationship, right? Something has to end so that something new can begin, okay? Okay, tell us about the post person. We have a Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is a slow-moving knight, and they come in with an offer of something, which is kind of interesting because when we look at the postal service, like regular mail, compared to like overnight and express mail and this type of thing, it might feel slow if you have been waiting for something that is of the earthly realm, and that is what the Pentacles represent. But we have a knight who is bringing in something, and you may be receiving that something via mail. So just awareness of that. Okay, tell us about the veterinarian. Okay, we have a Queen of Wands, and I actually find this funny because, you know, the first one is we have, well, I don't really want to describe it because I'm not sure. But this one is like a cat, okay? So the veterinarian, the Queen of Wands, is someone who is very creative. Look, we have a star on here again, you guys. A yellow star, standing in their power, in their creativity. This queen knows who she is, right? So you could have a veterinarian in your energy or in your neighborhood who is very creative, who has ideas and ways to help pets, maybe that aren't the same that everyone else has been doing, right? Maybe someone who's innovative. A veterinarian who sees more, or who is watching out, who is securing pets, pets' safety and such, right? Let's talk about the nurse card here. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles, and I find it interesting. It's actually, I'm going to have to take it. We're going to take them both because they're stuck together. And I read it, and I was going to say it's the same color as the nurse's costume here. So the King of Pentacles is someone who has finances. They are stable financially, if you'll say. But it is interesting because we have the Ten of Swords card, which is the card that I would have pulled if these two hadn't been stuck together. So a nurse, after someone has been, in this case, stabbed in the back, who has been through a very challenging journey, right? Who helps? A nurse can help, right? A nurse can help. And that can be, you know, in all different areas. Interesting. So in all different areas of, you know, like mind, body, soul, right, work. So a nurse can help at that. You know what, the question that I'm asking is who, like, how did someone get stabbed in the back, or who got stabbed in the back? Who did this stabbing in the back? A King of Pentacles was what I'm getting. Who did that? It was a King of Pentacles for a nurse to be here to help. We're going to take another card. Tell us why the Hierophant is here under the paramedic, please. Seven of Cups. So there are many choices in front of someone right now, with this Hierophant energy tapping into higher realms. Look at the stars again, right? The Seven of Cups is like many choices in front of someone. Many choices are in front of someone. Okay, tell us about this death. This death card, transformation under the Mechanic. Okay, we have a Knight of Wands. So a Knight of Wands is someone who is coming in pretty quickly. They're an action taker, right? So after a transition of some sort, a Knight of Wands comes in here, and this could be a mechanic, right? A Knight of Wands might come in and say, okay, you might see that car is not running, but I can fix that car, right? I can get that car fixed, because they are an action taker and they're passionate about what they do. Okay, tell us about this Knight of Pentacles under the postal worker, please. We have the Three of Swords. This is a situation where there was something coming in the middle of something, okay? This could have been a third-party relationship. It could be a job that got in the way. This could also be that the Postal Service was getting in the way of something that a Knight of Pentacles was trying to deliver, right? So just keeping that in mind. We have 3 frogs and 3 fish here. Okay, tell us more about the Veterinarian and the Queen of Wands, please. We have the Nine of Swords. Okay. And we have this is a monkey here. The Nine of Swords is someone who has gone or been going through what's called a dark night of the soul. They maybe haven't been sleeping well, having a tough time, recalling certain things, maybe actions they said, things they did, behavior patterns, this type of thing, remembering things. So this is coming up under the Veterinarian with the needle, a leash, and then what do you call it? Biscuits, dog treats. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages. Okay. So the this Queen of Wands very much may be going through this dark night of the soul. You know, I have a friend who works to help animals, and she's spoken on the state that she lives in that there's just so many, right? And it's like she does what she can, but it's still an overwhelming thing. And so there's a possibility that this Queen of Wands, who's been trying to take action and helping animals, is having a tough time over it. Maybe not being able to sleep because, of how many there are to take care of. Okay, well, tell us about why the nurse is here, the Ten of Swords, and the King of Pentacles, please. We have the Chariot. Okay. It's like something is happening quickly, and this is about things coming into balance, right? This is usually a black and white horse on here, but things coming into balance after a period of being stabbed in the back by what would be a King of Swords energy. There's like information coming in and balance is coming in. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Moon, which says there is something that you haven't been able to see. Okay? Something that is kind of hidden in the dark of the night, if you will. It can feel like that. It can feel like an illusion, or a mystery. So let's go a little bit further and see what this is. Eight of Swords, pardon me. It can leave someone in their thoughts. They can get out. The swords are about the thoughts. They can get out, but by not knowing, or what's going on here, they may have been put in their thoughts. And we have the Ram, which could be someone who is an Aries. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, and this is about something you have been working hard on. Okay, building something in the physical universe. All right, physical world, pardon me. All right, and then well, let me set these ones down, and then I'm going to shuffle one more time here. Okay, for an outcome, what I have here is a Two of Wands card, and the Two of Wands speaks about partnership. It speaks about choice. This does not have to be like a romantic partnership. That's not what this is. This is not the Lovers card. It is not the Two of Cups card. This is like Two of Wands is representing, it could just a choice that you have to make. It could be a business partnership too. See this rhino, which is so interesting. I have had a rhino come up probably 4 times this week in various locations. So I should look up I don't have it in front of me, but maybe if you want to Google the spiritual meaning of the rhino, that is coming up. And one of the things that was so random, it was a baggie of little rhinos, like that somebody would put down like on a table to scatter on a table for a decoration. They were just kind of random, but they were blue, and they kept like really, I don't know, they caught my eye every time. So that's why I was like, I have to look that up, and I still had not. Maybe I can do that very quickly. While we're on here, let's see. 1 minute. Okay, let's see. I feel like tough-skinned is something. Yeah, the rhinoceros is a symbol of strength. Although it is a herbivore, this animal and its size inspire awe. It represents robustness and vigor because of its physical characteristics. A massive body with a horn, the primary meaning of the rhinoceros' spirit animal is strength. That's what I was kind of feeling like. It was something like that. So again, just that reminder that wow, it's like you have the strength even after you've been through a tough situation, right? But you've got community helpers here, working to help get things worked out. So keeping that in mind. As long as I have these cards out, I'm going to use a couple angel number cards too. What messages do you have for the collective here? The first one is reassurance, okay, and that falls under the Hierophant and the Seven of Cups, so many choices. And the number is 747, so something, 747 is an airplane, right? Trust your intuition and make practical decisions that align with your higher purpose. Your guardian angels are acknowledging your efforts, okay? Reassurance from your spiritual team. Think of your 747, right? That they are here watching over and with you. The next one that we have is self-love. This falls under that the mechanic card. So again, the tools for repair, the death, and then the Knight of Wands. So self-love. 676. Prioritize your well being and cultivate a deep sense of love and compassion for yourself. Again, I'm wearing pink. Pink is about self healing, right? And so if you have been going through things, you might choose to have some pink around, some soft pink, because it is exactly that. It is soft, it is soothing, and it is healing. Okay, the next one that we have, this came up in a short that I just did, starting over, and the number is 210. She also wears pink. You are presented with an opportunity for a fresh start, okay, and new beginnings. Release regrets and embrace the present moment with openness and optimism. Again, fresh starts after what? After Three of Swords, where something came in between a situation with the post office and a Knight of Pentacles. Okay, let's go ahead a little further. All right, under the veterinarian, the Queen of Wands, and the Nine of Swords, we have confidence. Number 909. Things are moving, and you need to make a decision. Act with confidence and take risks. Okay. Take risks and keep moving forward. So, the words that I didn't say is it's just being mindful. Do I continue to take an action step? Sometimes we rest, but do we park it there and stay, or do we allow that to just be a rest and then continue on, right? Keep moving forward with confidence. Okay, what is the next message you have for us under the Nurse, the Ten of Swords, King of Pentacles, and the Chariot? We have letting go. Number 321. Surrender and let go of control. Release resistance and trust in the flow of life, knowing that everything unfolds in divine timing and for your highest good. Okay? So, has there been a situation where you've been pushing really hard to get an answer, right? To push for an answer that you want. And there is balance in that, right? It's not saying never want anything again, but when we release, we're not fighting so hard for a certain outcome. It is flow, trust, faith, right? And surrender. And that's interesting. I read something today that spoke about surrender, but I do not have it here right now. And that was exactly what the reading was about, is just allowing oneself to surrender to whatever the situation is and trust that things are being worked out for your highest good and for the highest good of all. So that's the message for today. I want to say thanks for joining me. I hope you have a good day. Take care.